There we go. Hey, what's going on, guys? Phil here with podcast number 199. I'd like to say welcome to everyone out there. Hopefully you're having a great day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. It is time for another podcast. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing community questions. That's right. We haven't done this in a long time, and actually this used to be sort of a go-to for us pretty often. I think we did it back in the day. Obviously a lot earlier in the podcast and like back in early, MWO development. So I figured why not do it tonight and ask you guys what you guys want to talk about specifically. So there's two ways we're going to be going about this. One, you can say hello in chat, ask a question that way. Maybe there's a topic and it doesn't even have to be MWO related. Or you can hop on Discord, hop down to the ready room. If you have a question, just X up on Twitch chat. I'll pull you up, obviously, and we'll have a discussion and then maybe rotate on to the next person. But yeah, like I say again, welcome to everyone out there. Hopefully you're having a great day, night, morning. Okami says, hello. Hey, Phil in chat. Two streams going on, two computers next to each other. Oh my. Hello, sir, to Zavak. Is that how you pronounce that? I don't want to mess that up. I apologize. But yeah, just want to say again, welcome to everyone out there. We've been having some fun playing some, well, we did some Halo earlier today. We've done some MechWarrior online, of course, BattleTech. We've also played a slew of other games, including a lot of Warhammer titles, Star Wars. I mean, you name it. We've been actually sort of branching out. I've really actually been enjoying a lot of the games. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and I'll pull up specifically what titles and their names. Maybe we can just sort of talk about those for a bit. But anyways, this is community questions. So hit me up with questions. Let me know what is on your mind. What specifically do you want my give or take about? And we'll see if we can go from there. But recent games, of course, we've done some Dawn of War. We talked about this a lot on the stream specifically, but I feel like I haven't played Dawn of War 3, but I've definitely watched it when it first launched. And looking at the mod scene for Dawn of War, I look at the Dawn of War Apocalypse mod, which looks fantastic, albeit it doesn't change the campaign. It changes multiplayer and like the skirmish maps and stuff like that. It gets pretty crazy. You can see that the engine and how old it is, they're stressing it out, but it's amazing to see like a modding community take such an old game and still want to play it and push it and create content for it. So that's been pretty awesome. All right, so first question, fairly simple from Daidachi. Says, Paul posted PSR ratings and tightening up. Do you think this is somewhat premature and they would have been better served putting new cadets in tier 5 rather than 3 to tighten up matchmaking while the tiers settle? Oh man. Okay, so do I think it's premature? Let me go ahead and parse that out. Probably not per se. I think and this sort of goes back to like where sort of everyone, right? They put everyone mid tier 3. So they know anybody coming back to the game, it's right in the middle. Actually, you get a little bit of a bonus, right? I mean, if you're upwards trending or downward trending. I don't think it's too soon. I think if anything, they wanted more separation, but I mean, that requires matches, right? It took me 77 matches to go from where I was to just getting into tier 1. So I don't know how quickly you could reverse that. I think I was Sir Reckless was doing that stuff last night, seeing how quickly. So it'd be interesting hearing from him. As far as cadets are concerned, it's tough. I don't think it would have been bad putting them in 5, right? Because then that way they're going up against people that aren't necessarily too high skilled. Tier 3, they can still go against someone like myself, right? I've been playing the game for 8 years. Is that fair? Now, obviously, if it's going to automatically sort of drop them down. They're probably going to get their ass kicked for, you know, a handful. And that's where I think the real question is, Didachi, is having the cadets at level 3, is that a good experience for them? And I think that's where, I think if I was to say, if there was to be a change, I would say put them in tier 4. Now, the reason why I say not 5 is, and I can sort of see this, is that's a long way to potentially climb. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's tough. I mean, not everyone coming in is going to, you know, trend downwards. There are some people that could totally trend upwards, right? So I don't think it's premature. I wonder if he meant 3 weeks instead of when he said we'll look back and sort of see the differences. And he said 3 months with the changes to PSR. So I don't know. It's an interesting question. But as far as like, they have the numbers. If everyone's trending 3, you know, still, whether they're 5 or 3, I guess it doesn't really matter. Except for right now, they tighten the groups to only 1. So 3, they're going up against 2 or 4, right? So I don't think it's a bad thing for cadets starting where they are now, but definitely when they were going up against potentially players they shouldn't, that's a little bit different. Next question, just do, well, it's more of an answer. 2021 says, just do 5 placement matches and what the placement for initial tier, either 2, 3, 4, and 1. Well, remember too, you do get a boost for the X amount of matches you're in, so there's that. Hoodie says, what about an approach like Overwatch, have placement matches to see their initial level? I think that sort of basically, that's already in the system. Right, where they, starting at 3, just think of it now. Now a player will only from 3 to 2 and 3 to 4. So that's actually, I don't think that's a bad thing for a new player. And if they so happen to drop down to 4, then they're going up against someone who's 3 and someone who's 5. So I don't think like that's a bad thing. And guys, there's a big difference, in my opinion, of someone who's actually a tier 3 and a tier 1 player. I do think it's not huge. Like, you could take someone that has 10,000 matches and is still a tier 3 player, and that's not bad. But there's a big difference between that person and, generally speaking, their situational awareness and their ability to know when to push, when to apply pressure. And that's really the difference, I would say, between someone that's a tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1 is, of course, builds come a long way. But, yeah. Kagru says, I think the gates and timers were probably cut too soon. Not a whole lot of population filled T1 matches. But see, I don't think it's a problem. Really, I don't think there's any difference, Kag, and this is why. And I was sort of explaining this on the stream yesterday, which was we were always going to have issues with just only having tier 1 players. So what's interesting is a drastic reduction in tier 1 players just happened, especially considering that graph. That graph before, there was around 7,200 or 7,400 tier 1 players. Now, according to that graph, there was what, like 500 or something like that, or something at the end. Okay, so that's a drastic reduction. Those players that were in tier 1, guess what, are still tier 2, tier 3. So your quality of matches aren't going to shift drastically. Now, I will say, I did notice that after Paul made those changes yesterday, and for those that are wondering, it's basically where there's only one deviation. So tier 2 and tier 1 matches, and if it can't find a match within 4 minutes, then it starts opening to tier 3. I did notice a difference, and it was night and day. It was one of those situations where you definitely had to be on point a little bit higher. In my opinion, I noticed it. And it was right after I read that post, and those matches I was getting after that post, you were having to try harder, right? Which is what you want in that case, right? So yeah, and I think that's what you would expect, Kag, right? Like tier 2, your tier 2 players, when they're going up against someone who's tier 3, the tier 2 players are expected to do better. That's how the system works, right? But yeah, I would say your tier 1 matches that I was gearing, tier 2, tier 1 that was kicking off, were there was a difference. All right, Daidachi says, separate question. You've discussed broadening your scope game-wise to non-Battletech titles. You've had a few months now of playing different things. Where do you see your future path for channel growth? And what upcoming titles do you think are going to be key for you to grow and develop your channel? Ooh, that's a deep question. All right, so let me go ahead and dive into the first part of that question, or sort of like me wanting to branch out scope and game-wise. Yeah, I definitely have wanted to do that. And there's a few reasons. One, I think the channel will only grow by spreading out. Hands down. There's a ceiling to the MechWarrior community, and that's, I would say, mainly due to just how many people there are watching on Twitch. Okay. I don't think I've hit the ceiling on YouTube at all, and I haven't really been pushing content on YouTube, and that's another discussion, so that could be a question. But now that I've been playing a few different things, where do I see the channel growth? Surprisingly, a lot of Warhammer titles have been very popular, which I guess maybe not so surprising because very passionate crowds. Probably the same age group and demographic. It's an older IP as well. And also too is think of the people that are invested in Warhammer that have minis and have been playing, probably have a little bit more money than, you know, your 18-year-old or so forth. So investment. So that's not surprising. I really like what we've been doing is sort of branching out. Like Destiny is really fun, but you know, it's one of those things where, is that like a daily? Do I want a daily, or do I just want to play something like Halo, where Halo 3 comes out, we play it, we knock through it, and then we move on? And I've actually been really enjoying that. Now, as far as channel growth, that's a bigger, broader question, because I'm very aware of when we play a game, like for instance, when I did Warframe, but I did it at nights and we were having lower viewership, right? But I've also noticed it's been lower viewership regardless, except for like MWO. And I think obviously there's a reason for that. So as far as key to success, I think the reality of it is to continue having my foot in the door with obviously the MechWarrior community. And that's why this Saturday when I did those community drops with you guys, I tested the waters. And then Monday I tested. And then Tuesday. Is because I wanted to know, is there still a desire from you guys? And can I play the game and just let go of my concerns as far as not letting it dictate my attitude towards it, and me just what is my purpose? And it took me a bit. It took me a bit to, and where this sort of came about, Daidachi, and this is sort of a a round circle, is when I did that last video about MechWarrior 5 DLC, and I got some mixed reactions from the video, because I think a lot of people, because I asked and a lot of people said, no, I think you were just honest and you're frustrated, and I am, but I don't want to be that, where that's not a quality that I want. And I'm not saying I lie to everyone or lie to myself, but if I'm playing a game and all it is creating me angst and frustration, maybe that game's not meant for me, or maybe I need to move on. And so that sort of that's why I didn't play MWO for well over a month. And I had to find my center, if you will, whatever kind of word you want to use. I had to realize that, you know, there are people that are new to the game and I can still be a part of the community, and there are people that want to see me play, and I do generally enjoy the matches. Like you guys watch me for the past few days. I don't mind discussion, but I'm not going to harp. We can't control what we can't control. And I think that's a very important thing for me. And I've said that so many times. That's how I handle things in real life. If I can't control it, I'm not going to stress it. I can't control the development of MWO. Neither can you. I'm not going to sit around and complain and gripe and bicker, I guess. It is what it is. I'm okay with acknowledging that, you know, like, I don't think MWO is going to get anything. I think the only thing we're getting is sales. The only reason we got changes to PSR and zero sum is because PGI's hand was forced. That's not a critique. That's not a slap at them. That's just reality. And so sort of where do I see my path and what upcoming titles? I just want to sort of give you a background of how I was feeling, Daidachi, when it came to that. As far as upcoming titles, I think the Star Wars Squadron is going to be fantastic. We got it ready. As far as other titles, oh man, and this is going to sound bad, but this is also why I feel like it's so important for me to branch out, because how many games have you guys brought up and I'm like, oh, I haven't played that. So you say future titles. What future titles? Phantom Brigade, that's coming out. That's the turn-based tactical mecha, right? I think that's going to be really good. Iron Harvest is an RTS as well that I'll definitely check out. Cyberpunk, I will end up getting it. Now everybody's going to be getting it. So the real question I have for myself is, as a streamer, how do you build your channel when and if you stream a game and it's very competitive, or you're low on the totem pole? And this is a very important thing for any streamer out there. That's and I know this for a fact. If you go to a game like Warfare, and we go there right now and we have 34 people watching, no one will ever find the channel. And it's very important for you to recognize that Twitch is not going to do anything for you, and it's not luck on how you grow. Yes, there are streamers that started in 2012 like ourselves, and they've grown, right? But they put in the work and the effort. It's very, very rare that just someone, anyways. You have to find games that fit around the number of viewers that you have, and where you can place, generally speaking, within the top 5 to top 10, right? Now, I'm not saying you go and play games that you don't like. What I'm saying is you find games that you like that have that sort of demographic, and then that way people can discover you for you. And I would also highly recommend, don't be a one-time only trick pony gamer, streamer. Be a variety gamer, be a variety streamer. That being said, MWO was definitely our ticket, right? So there is, in my opinion, places for a streamer, even ourselves, to grow in niche communities. You just have to realize those communities may not be as interested in other titles. Now, again, I'm very fortunate. I think a lot of you guys have thrown your support at me and said, you play whatever you want, I will be there, and that's fantastic. But that may not be the case in every community. So what's the key? The key for me, in my opinion, is to find those niches. Play games, though, that I don't really care if I have large viewership, though, i.e. we played Halo. Did we have a large viewership? No, but funny enough, when we were streaming, we were third in the overall Halo 3. So that's important. So people can find you. The other thing is to create YouTube content, because YouTube content is searchable and easy to find. And how many of you guys go to YouTube, you Google or you YouTube something, I don't know, MWO builds, and you're down the rabbit hole and you've seen beef videos and Bear Duel and NGNG and whoever, builds. That doesn't happen on Twitch. So that's what I need to refocus on. And that's something that I'm trying to wrap my head around, because I've only created basically MechWarrior Online Battletech content, which for MechWarrior Online is pretty much match to match or build and match, right? And Battletech is, here's prior to the match what I did, and then here is the match. I've never really created outside content outside of that. So what I'm trying to do is, and what I may end up doing, is creating content for MechWarrior Online, MechWarrior 5, Battletech, and get it to where I'm on that schedule again, because I did it for a month to test to see how many views and how much work and effort goes into that. And then what I might do is just start easing in stuff. right? So you guys are getting the content that you want on YouTube, and it's bringing new people in. And surprisingly, when I did that, we had a lot of new subscribers to YouTube. We had a lot of people show up to Twitch. So there is a correlation between someone finding you on YouTube and then coming to your Twitch channel and potentially supporting you, whether it's a viewer, whether it's a subscriber, whether it's a Patreon, whatever. So Daidachi, that's a long way of basically saying the YouTube department, I think, is in a very important role to play in a piece, and I haven't got that puzzle piece figured out. But as far as games, I think we're, I've got a good idea of what I want to do, but the reality of it is, as far as new titles, I'm discovering being a gamer. I know that sounds funny, maybe weird, because I've been so stuck in MechWarrior BattleTech for so long, which isn't a bad thing. Like I said, it is what it is, right? All right, so that was very long-winded, but thank you for the question. Do you think there will be a decent, and this is Tiberius, do you think there will be a decent MechWarrior 5 discussion, or will the focus center mostly on MWO? Are you talking about tonight? That's up to you guys. You ask questions. I'm here to talk about whatever you want, man. And I'm going to, of course, interject and throw in my own stuff here or there. But, yeah. The real question is, how big are you going to customize the doing the tongue? It's cyberpunk. I'm going to be realistic, all right? I'm a hobbit. It is what it is. It's like, Akami says, as I've said, as long as you're having fun, and we will probably enjoy what you stream. Yeah, and that's the case for some, but that's not the case for all. Halo 3 today, we had 100+ people for MWO for the past few days. I streamed Halo 3, and I think we topped out at like 44. And again, I'm not concerned with that because I want to experience that storyline and that campaign. But that is something that I definitely pay attention to. If I stream a game and 10 people show up and it's, prime time, that's possibly something that I shouldn't focus on. Or if I really enjoy the game, I do focus on it and I build YouTube content to bring more people. So there's that. Tabir says, even when you're hunting for a good variety game to play or be recommended, do you have preference? 12-hour story games, roguelike, replayables, long tail, open world, thing about. So I don't think going hardcore, like Witcher 3 that we were playing way back when, and this was like when I did my other channel, I don't think Witcher is a good game to stream. One, it's way too long. Two, so many people have already played it and they have no interest in watching. Games that have been really opposite of that, though, is stuff like Halo, is stuff like Space Marine, Jedi, Fallen Order, because they're not that long. I mean, the most we were talking about was 20, or let's just say 20 hours or whatever. I think the 5 to 20 hours is a good sweet spot for the channel, in my opinion. Now, that may change, of course, but I feel like that's the case, especially when it's good content. I mean, Mass Effect is a good example. I was enjoying Mass Effect, the story, but Mass Effect 1, unfortunately, in my opinion, the just gameplay wasn't there for me. So it was basically like run around and read these stories and interactions, but the gameplay was a huge letdown as far as like combat. Now, I know Mass Effect 2 and 3 get better, so maybe we'll go back there. So I guess that's my example, yeah. Mass Effect is a great game, but it's long, especially if you're doing, yeah, and I was doing the side quest because it's important, right? Like you want to do all the little things, right? So if you guys have questions about MWO or Mech 5, feel free to ask. I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about, and that's what we're here for. As far as Mech 5 right now, there's some really cool mods going on behind the scenes. Of course, we're working on Mech Commander. We're very close. We're Y-Rot has hit sort of some little bit of slowdowns, and it's mainly to getting the Mason or the player controller at this point to react. Basically, it has to do with the file. Anyways, we've got one main hurdle left to where we could basically release it. So I also know that there's people working on, and I need to reach out to the individual who's working on importing new mechs and working on new mechs. And this is for Mech 5, which is a really cool thing. So what I need to do is I need to reach out to that said individual. I started a conversation with them yesterday, but I didn't get to it, and document the process and then get that to a video format or at least a wiki or something so that other people can replicate it. Because in my opinion, I don't think you need the level of detail that PGI is going into. And I also feel like it's not the right direction. And what I mean by that is the state of damage and damage modeling that they've done. A good example I have is sort of like the image behind me, and the image of the BattleTech Kickstarter mechs, where there's like pockets and like you could see laser burns, but there's actual impact damages and stuff, and that's how I feel like damage modeling should be. I think they went a little bit too far with the like where you could see through and it's got this weird internal structure. I think it's over. I don't think we need it. And especially from modders, I don't think you need it. I think if you do a cool damage texture, that'll work. Yeah, if we can get that in, we can bring in other mechs from MWO. They can also bring in customized mechs, customized vehicles. I need to reach out. Unfortunately, there's no documentation everywhere, so people are having to like reverse engineer it. So there's that. Deadwing asks, do you think we'll get clans on MechWarrior 5, either officially or third party? Yes, hands down. Yes. Do I think it's going to be official? Let's ask that first. Yeah. I think it would be a mistake on PGI's part not to tap into that. Now, keep in mind, when they had job positions that had like, character modeler and stuff like that, right? They had positions. I'll even check right now. They had career spots open for those, and unless they filled them, so they have a software engineer, gameplay generalist, level 2, level designer 2, producer 2, senior 3D environment artist, and UI UX specialist. So in my opinion, we will get them. Oh man, the real question is, are we going to get them from the community before we do PGI? And that I would probably say yes. I think we'll get them modded in before PGI will get them in. What would be an acceptable bare minimum for content with a hypothetical MW2 launch? Do you need the full MW roster at launch? So that's actually that's a good topic, because that's assuming the next iteration that they do, if it's online, is exactly a free-to-play title like they've already done, right? So they could drastically change it up so it doesn't even feel like or look like the customization could be different. And that's sort of like what Mech 5 could have been, to some extent. It is. The Mech Lab's drastically different, not in the right way, in my opinion. But gameplay and so I think from an outside perspective, everyone just says MW 2.0, and you're thinking free to play title, what we currently have, and you buy mech packs and stuff like that. I think the market's changed. I don't think you would do MWO like you did it before. All other free to play titles, Fortnite, you name it, are what they do is skins, right? And cosmetic items. So, but that's really tough with mechs, considering, if it changes the shape of them, does that affect the hitboxes? A very real thing could be them not doing another online title. That could very well be a thing. Do I think that's going to be the case? No. I think if we were, So we do know that they're launching on Steam in December, and also probably GOG, right? So that means they're branching, getting ready for Steam launch. We also know that they're launching the DLC. We don't have a date on that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I called September. I don't know if that's true, but I think it'll be before the December launch. And by the way, a Steam launch is like it being a new game anyway. It'll be in better position because it's had patches. It's going to have extra game mode, artillery, and we're really hoping with the quest system and the quirk system that they're adding. Again, we don't really know all the details, but them launching on Steam is like a new game. Now that all sounds good, but unless the repetitive nature has been knocked back a bit, I think you're going to see the same sort of reviews that you had with Mech 5's launch, right? Because unless they're updating Fahad and Rihanna and that story, as far as not the storyline, not the, spoiler alert, you're betrayed and all that, blah, 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 but how they present it to the player, the models need update. Like, the character models are really bad. How you tell that story, the voice, I don't think they're going back to fix all that. So new players come Steam launch DLC, if career mode allows you to skip that stuff and you don't have to even worry about the campaign, or maybe it's secondary, I don't know. But yeah, we just don't know. So what would be a bare minimum content? I think, to me, oh man, I haven't even really put a lot of thought into it, because I think that depends on if they were to do another game or not. And I think the game just needs a lot of imagination and love poured into it. Take what works from MWO. I think it was a mistake doing faction play. I think it was a mistake doing Solaris. Learn from those mistakes and then, fix them, right? So if you're going to do and that's why I don't know if they're going to do another online segment. It would make sense. They have a 5-year contract extension, right? So that, by the way, they had the contract till end of 2020. So that means they're going to have the license till 2025. So we will obviously see another DLC in 2021 announcement. But one thing that I think we have to be understandable about too, and again, this is no defense of maybe content coming out slower, but this is a reality. COVID and everything going on with the world, the economy, them working at home will slow down production unless they can find a pipeline that's just uber smooth. So we know that they're going to do another DLC. And then what we don't know is that going to be a clan DLC? Or is that going to be a storyline? Is that just going to be more game modes? What is that? We don't know. We don't even know what's going on. I mean, they've been extensive with what's coming with the DLC per se, but they haven't got into the weeds with it. We don't know every detail about it. So what we're really hoping is like AI gets fixed, the spawning gets fixed, right? I'm really excited, by the way, for infantry and the new game mode for a few reasons. One, artillery and sort of that system, we can use it for our Mech Commander mod, and infantry we can use for Mech Commander as well. So there's that. But yes, I agree with you, CAG. They need a good story if they're going to stick with single player. Not only do they need a good story, though, because the story is fine in Mech 5. It was written by Randall Bills, by the way, as far as my understanding. It's the fact of, it's not the story that's what you're talking about. It's the storytelling. How do you present that on a computer screen to where audio and visual comes into your eyeballs and your ears and it fits? Harebrained Schemes did a fantastic job with that, in my opinion. Hit it out of the box comparatively to Mech 5. When I watch that the intro tutorial segment, when I do that, it's so cringy. It's so cringy. Another thing too is like making you feel like like live in the universe, right? Like we've always wanted that. And I still feel like that's missed, right? Very good questions, by the way, in discussion. Keep them rolling. I do appreciate it. I've got some peach whiskey here. I do. Okay, so another thing we were talking about, and this is actually sort of exciting. And Cag, you're here because I was going to message you about this because I know you showed some type of interest. I think whenever COVID and all this craziness winds down, I think it would be awesome to do another MechCon, but not a PGI MechCon. And I say MechCon, whether it's BattleTechCon or whatever. And I think I'm going to try to organize it. I think that would be fantastic. I think I would let everyone know a year ahead, like, here, this is where it's going to be. You know, these are hotels and stuff, accommodations. I think it'd be really cool to do like a Friday through Sunday or whatever like that. And it would be here in North Carolina. As far as right now, because I live here, at least in the Raleigh area. And then if I were to move, I'll let everybody know, of course. But I think I'll start trying to organize that and get things locked down. And if it requires financial, like for instance, to like maybe you have to prepay or something like that, I'll start getting things organized and we can go from there. But just to let everybody know, I think that would be really cool, doing another convention, or even maybe just sort of, I don't know if I want to do a backpedaling or like backpacking off of a different convention. I think it'd be cool just to say, hey, from this Friday through Sunday, we're going to have, you go to this place, there's food, there's alcohol that you can, all that. We've got tabletop there. Maybe we look at sponsors getting some computers so people can play games and stuff like that. Invite Catalyst out, invite PGI, invite HPS, stuff like that. I think that would be cool. But obviously, it would just be a convention, right? At that time, a BattleTech convention. So I think that would be really cool. I think that'd be fun. I think there'd be a lot of interest. I mean, there was, like I said, last time in MechCon, I mean, we had over 1,000 people, I think, there. Granted, we had employees and stuff like that too. So, we'll do, CAG. Yeah, no, this isn't Jim Beam. This is the Bird Dog. No, they didn't do a MechCon in 2019. They did a MechWarrior 5 launch party. It was like the 19th, 20th, or 21st, I think. December 21st. I wasn't able to go. I was invited, but they wouldn't pay for a plane ticket or, hotel or anything like that, so I didn't press it. Yep. And then on top of that, it's 21st. I'm around family and stuff. That's way too late. But to be honest, if I'm honest with you, I'm glad I didn't go. I was not really interested in going. So, and then we came back from that January, and then our contract ended. So it was sort of fitting, right? But yeah. Yeah, guys, this is Community Questions Night. I'm taking questions directly from you in chat and or Discord. If anybody would like to join me on Discord and ask a question, maybe have a discussion, feel free to hop on and head to the ready room. I'll drag you up, have a discussion. Keep in mind, please make sure you have, good mic and I can hear you and understand you and stuff like that. No screaming babies in the background. We love babies, just not screaming ones. But yeah, keep the questions coming. It can be about MechWarrior. It can be about gaming. It can be about stuff like Daidachi brought up with me and growing this channel and so forth. Daidachi, I think I'd like to expand on sort of your topic as well as like, my goal, what are my goals for the channel? What do goals mean? So if you guys don't mind me jumping in that, it's been a ride, like one of the things that, when our contract ended with PGI in January, it was January 7th, by the way, 7th, I think it was 7th. It sort of came as a shock, to be honest. Not that, and let me backpedal here. Me and the wife started talking about in June of 2019 that our contract may not be extended. And the reason I felt that way is just how the vibe was, right? And so we made the decision, hey, if you to lose your job, where are we financially? And so we decided to get our house ready and all that, blah, blah, blah. We knew it was a potential, but what was weird is come, and I guess it's not weird, but December when that party happened, Darren went and he got good vibes. And Darren, I remember I called him the next day. He was having breakfast with his family and Russ and his family, and he felt, dude, we're good. Everything's still good. Come 2 weeks from that, though, after the holiday and New Year, that wasn't the case. So the reason I bring this up is we knew it was a potential thing for happening, but then after that December launch party, Darren, had basically said, hey, I feel like we're really good. He was up there hanging out, blah, blah, blah. So when it happened, one of the things that I did is I said, I think it's time for me to branch out and do my own thing. And, what does that look like? What do I picture? And, one of the things I said, to my wife was, and this is why I created, for those that weren't around back then, hey, Harbinger, thank you for the raid. One of the things that I talked about was when that happened, I started my own Twitch channel, but obviously that's not ideal. Ideally, I would have kept what, I'd helped grow, and that was this channel and YouTube, and that's eventually what happened. So come March, so as far as my goals are, I think at the end of the day, like I said, to, can I make doing this a career? And so usually when I talk to people about this, and I've talked to Stream about this quite a bit, what does that mean? Like, if you were to say, okay, Phil, what does career mean? For me, it would be creating a entertainment and content that you guys find entertaining, that you come here every single day, that you enjoy what I do via streams or YouTube content, and there's value there. So what is the value? Really, at the end of the day, the value is the same as anything out there, which is you guys showing up, whether it's through subs or whether it's through donations or cheers or YouTube views or comments or hopping on Discord or participating in events and so forth and so on, sort of what's going on right now. So when I say, can I make this into a career? It's outside of the fact of, I know, we no longer get paid from PGI since January. So can I be able to pay bills? Can I be able to, if my wife loses her job, are we okay? So forth. And that's another question or circumstance. So my first goal is, can I make a career out of here? So I guess the first thing is, can I pay our bills? Can I cover our rent? Can I cover our medical insurance? Can I cover our stuff like that? So that's the first goal that I look at as from a financial, and are we growing? And that sort of leads into one of the questions of, where does MWO sort of fall into this? Well, it's to no surprise, when I stream MWO, we tend to get a lot of viewership, and compared to other titles where we don't. And that's not surprising, right? Everybody that's known me and is, since I started streaming, has been from this community. It's no surprise, right? So again, going back to that's where I had to mentally readjust and realize there's a lot of people out there that want to support you. There's a lot of people that want to see you play the game. Can you find a way to where, and again, I did. So, yeah, so that's one of my goals, is to be able to get to that point. Little bit of a update too, for those that may not know, my wife is last day at her job is tomorrow because of COVID, unfortunately. But the good news, she just had an interview today. It's only for a contract, 1-year job, but and when I say only, it's because, and I don't mean that like underhanded, it's more of, we were really hoping she could get a career job that gives benefits like vacation and medical. Because right now we have to pay medical for her. Luckily, I'm very fortunate. My medical's through the VA, so I don't have to pay anything per month. And if I do have to go to the VA and have anything happen, it's at a very low cost, or if not free, depending. So I'm very fortunate to that. So, yeah. All right. Tiberius says, I've heard about the contract, but I started following after it ended. What actually was it? Tiberius, we donned a lot of hats for what we did. Some people would say we were community managers. Some people would say we were marketing PR. Some people would say we were a combination of all of it. I'd like to think that a community representative, community manager, PR, it all sort of fits. But basically, we interacted with you guys. We interacted with newer streamers that came in. As far as if a new streamer came in, Darren and I would watch them, not veto them per se, or vet them. Sorry, not veto. Vet them. If they're a good person, do they need help? What about giveaways, stuff like that? I was helping, especially early on. I did all the quirks. Until Chris took over on that. So I was the one, and at the time, no one knew of this. There was some people behind the scenes that knew, but I did all the quirks. So like all of the funny stuff that happened in the past, where like the quick draw had like 1,000 cooldown. That was my mistake because of a decimal place. But like Thunderbolt 5SS, or I mean, you name all of the stuff that was like crazy. I would say sometimes fun, but sometimes it was definitely a swung balance back and forth. I did that. So I was really busy with that. I streamed. I kept my ear to the ground, if you will. When there was stuff that would happen in the community, I would bring it up internally. It didn't always mean that it would get action, but I brought it up. I tried listening to a lot of the concerns with the community. All that being said, I definitely grew because we made a lot of mistakes early on, just because, again, we'd never been in that sort of limelight. But we definitely learned a lot. To the end, it was, and keep in mind, I loved what I did, and it was a great opportunity. And if Russ is listening to this, or anybody at PGI, I loved working for you guys. It was fantastic. The last 2 years was very frustrating, especially being as passionate as I am about the game, and then seeing the lack of love given to the game. It was very frustrating, especially behind the scenes when all of the development time was going to Mech 5, and I could just see the resources being pulled from MWO. That was very, for me at least, it was tough to deal with and emotionally draining. Especially like you stream every single day, people come to your chat and they're expecting answers. And for people that come here every single day, you heard me talk a lot about issues, and then sometimes a patch would come out and it was about stuff I was talking about. I tried to drop hints about stuff, or I tried to talk about certain subjects that maybe there might be a change or stuff. Like, I tried doing as best as I could within the confines. And does that mean I wasn't able to say certain things? Yes, hands down. But anyways, that whole thing, Tiberius, was a great experience. And being a positive influence and a positive community sort of central point, which of course some would say is white knighting, whatever. It is what it is. You can't please some people. You know, if you want to focus on negative, that's on you. It's not my thing. So yeah, that's what we did. From community management, PR, marketing, you know, and then, you know, for events and stuff, for the MechCons, we were there, we were working, which sucks. It sucks working because, and this is why I say it sucks, because I missed out on MechCon too. Like, yeah, we had really good, like, being behind the scenes and being part of a development and all that is great. It's cool. But man, you do miss out being just a fan. So there is that, you know, and sometimes it's weird because like, it's like, wow, we did that. We were there, or we participated, or, you know, so it's a really cool thing looking back. So yeah. You loved the pre-nerf quirks on the, yeah. Now, to be fair, I wanted to reduce and get rid of a lot of quirks, but the reasoning I wanted to do that is because I felt balance was off. But here's the kicker. Me and Chris agreed on a lot of things. Even when it came to that, the problem is we weren't allowed to do anything because there wasn't enough resources. They didn't have engineers because everybody was full steam on Mech 5. So even if we wanted something to happen, just it wasn't, we couldn't do it. And that happens, you know, it is what it is. It's one of those, like I said, it is what it is. It's out of my control, but it definitely added to my frustration. And I'm glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. But also I, you know, recognize that they had other stuff going on. So, you know. The 5SS, thank you for allowing to shine. Yeah, some of the stuff did get out of control. And like I said, one of the reasons why I wanted to pull back a lot of the quirks was because I wanted to see where the base balance was. Like, remove quirks from IS mechs and clan mechs. Where do things fall? I still feel that way. Obviously, it's not going to happen. But I always wanted to sort of see, then you make changes. But even if you talk about balance between engines, or balance between you know, weapon systems, or balance between heat systems, damage transfer is another big one. All of these things would require were the host state, no, those weren't. That was Chris. Yeah. That was I was there for it, but it was one of those where it was I was for getting rid of the GOS PPC combination, but I also recognized it inadvertently helped clan mechs more than it did IS mechs. But the issue was, anytime we went down the rabbit hole of discussing how to fix it, we couldn't because we didn't have the resources, i.e. engineer time, to be able to do anything about it. Does that make sense, Cyrus? So it really, you know, like I said, for that 2 years, you know, me and Chris would have, I mean, Darren used to get annoyed because like he would hop on and me and Chris would just be talking balance. Then we just go in circles because it was like, oh, God dang it. Like we just couldn't do anything. So, you know, you could have all the design there, send it off, and it'd just be like, well, we don't really have time. So, you know. And officially, I'm going to get yelled at for this by all my whiskey drinkers out there. This is not a whiskey cup, but it is what it is, I guess. I got some on my wish list, so maybe someone will hook me up there. I don't know. I've done dev for runoff clients, so I understand the just do enough to keep the lights on demand. Yeah, and that's how it feels with MWO, and that's what's weird. Drink from the bottle. That's what's weird is I understand that, you know.
Hello, Phil. I am here with you.
Then you've got this guy. Look at this guy. Thank you, Hobo. We're in the middle of a podcast, Hobo. You just taking over? Is that what you're doing? Chat, introduce Hobo. Hobo, this is the world. Thank you, Hobo. Much appreciated. Thank you for the 5,000 bits, sir. Dropping it like it's hot. Much appreciated. But that's what's weird is, like, on one hand, I understand where PGI is coming from and not doing anything with MWO. On the other hand, I also am like, but there's so low-hanging fruit that you could do with MWO to where things would be a lot better. But, and my reasons for those, if you're wondering, what, you know, like, I don't know if it makes sense for them to work on two separate products, two separate engines. They're full steam ahead on the DLC that they're currently on and they're going to release. They're full steam ahead on a Steam launch and GOG launch, whatever else platform they're going to be on. They're going to be working, obviously, on another DLC afterwards, and then possibly another DLC or big DLC, or, as, you know, like, who knows, you know? So, does it make sense if the majority of their, you know, workforce, and then what if Rust drops at the end of 2021, hey, we're coming out with another online, you know, expansion, or we're doing MechWarrior Online 2.0, but it's a completely different experience. I don't know. I mean, they have the, this is what I think, guys. They have the license till 2025. I don't think it's crazy. And knowing Russ is going to drop a bombshell in the community. That's what I think is going to happen. Do I know what that is? No. Could it be another online, or MechWarrior 5 online, or MechWarrior 6, or MWO 2.0? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But I also know that he admitted that the story wasn't their strong suit. So, but I think storytelling. So I think if they were to do anything in that regards, it's to improve that. And they got a character art. They were hiring a character artist. Thank you. Maybe they didn't have, maybe they just had hard I would, it's hard to believe that nobody, even like Mark Nicholson, looking at you, Mark, couldn't do a character, like a 3D model. They had to. I mean, they have to be able to. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's just really good mech modelers and they can't do organic modeling. I don't know. But yeah, there's that. So Battletech Online would be cool. But yeah, but what does that look like? You know, what is that? What is that? That's a good question. All right. Again, this is community questions. You guys ask me questions. What do you guys think? And it doesn't have to be MechWarrior Battletech related, but if it is, let's go ahead and go from there. But yeah, just like to say welcome again. Thank you, Hobo, for the support. Yeah, thank you guys. Possibly try to bring MWO into the current Battletech timeline. Oof. My big thing is just like the gameplay, imagination. Like, what is it to, you know, like, do we just want another just shooter online, or are you wanting something more in depth? I think in my opinion, there's a lot of people that just want to play online. You know, like, there is a large percentage that I think has no interest in Mech 5, and especially in its current state, you know? So, you know, like, I can appreciate what they were trying to do with, you know, very lack of customization. I think it was the wrong thing. You know, I think one of the problems is, like, battle mech scale, the idea that what's it like to actually live in the universe? What is that like? You know? Simple stuff like revising their pricing on the web store. Well, old mechs may not be old to newer players. That's what's always weird about. And, you know, to be fair, the marketing, not the marketing model, but their model for making income in the game, as far as sales of mechs, wasn't a problem, I think, until the clans. And then it sort of exacerbated. I mean, back before we had the whole, you know, had to have 3 of one chassis. we started to get chassis bloat and variant bloat. Now imagine if they did MWO 2.0, but instead of packs, you got individual mechs and variant, right? Like they released a, AS7D and that's it, right? Instead of having 6 Victors, they bring in, the 9S and like that's it, right? If they were to do that and really make the model and like one thing that I always felt was very lackluster was the individual mech paint jobs. How many of you guys would have paid for like almost like hero level paint jobs? I think a lot of people would. Like having a Yenlo Wang, or that style, like a freaking rockin', cool camo pattern, but also unique geometry that fit inside the hitbox. Like didn't change generally the outward shape. Sort of like the A7 or the Atlas, the S, where it has a different skull. I feel like that was a huge, huge missed opportunity. And instead what we got this sort of blanket, like here's these, the normal camo patterns and stuff like that. I think it would have been smart just to do individual and then sort of like skins off basically all the free to play. Warframe, Fortnite, you name it. If they would have done that for, or do that for a second MWO 2.0, right? And we don't even know if it would be called MWO 2.0, I don't know. Yep, they could do a season pass nowadays. That's a normal thing for free to plays. That's evolved, where all mechs are available, but like certain skins aren't, Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about that. So, yeah. But anyways, moving forward, just a heads up, by the way, we do have to give someone a shout out, even though he totally dumped us. Darren was supposed to be on tonight's podcast. So he yesterday bailed on us for a puppy. That's excusable. We're okay with that. Glad he rescued a pupper. Good to go. So we rescheduled for tonight, but do you know what he was doing tonight? Do you know what he bailed on us for tonight? To go look at a boat. So I'm not mad. I'm just... It better work out. No, actually, I'm really excited for him. He's gone down that boat life dream, and if he gets it, I'm happy for him. Does the boat have PPCs or large lasers? Don't think it has either or. Don't think it has either or. So, because he's not here, like say cheers to Darren. Glad you got a pupper, and I hope that boat works out. And we're gonna have a podcast one of these days, but whenever I ask you, because now you're on my watch. So when I feel like it, how about that? Ball's in my court, buddy. That's right. Does Darren's puppy have a beard? Matter of fact, his beard is a puppy. That's why you've always wanted to play with it this entire time. Can confirm. Yep. It makes total sense now, doesn't it? But yeah, so he's looking at that. So what about me and the wife? We talked about container homes, so forth and so on. Right now, we're sort of in a weird spot because we have this rental. Our lease ends February 17th. We have to give them 2 months notice. Okay, good to go. I I don't know if I feel comfortable enough, even if she gets like this contract job for a year, which potentially could extend or whatever. But I don't know if I feel comfortable enough to get a house, which would leave her potentially, you know, we'd have the house. Let's just say she lost that contract for another 2, you know, like, I don't know if I feel comfortable getting a house with her just on a contract position without any type of guarantee. Like, so right now we have no debt. Okay, that's not true. I still owe a little bit on carpet, but it was 0% down, and I figured why not? There was carpet in our old house. I have the money to pay it off. There's just no point. So there's that. But we have no debt. So what we're trying to do is, and this is why it's so important for me to, you know, again, make this a career, is so that we're able to put money aside right now for a down payment. So I don't know, you know, what the future holds. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be looking here in the Raleigh area. I don't know if we're going to be looking near Charlotte. I just don't know. So I will keep you guys updated. Right now, though, I'm just doing the best to, if I, you know, put money in savings. Every month, put money in savings. And hopefully she, cross her fingers, hopefully she's able to get this contract job just for maybe a bit, and then go from there. Yeah, I mean, I told her, I was like, look, I can go anywhere. I was like, I just need good internet. If you want to move up to the mountains, if you want, wherever you find a job, do you want to go towards Greensboro, Tennessee, Virginia, South Carolina? I was like, we can go anywhere. It's up to her. So she's an amazing worker. She's got a great resume. So if anybody's listening and you're looking for like a level 2 or 3 admin, like someone with like 8+ years of experience, is super, go get them. We'll learn any software you toss at her. Let me know. Send me a message. If you got an application, we can put it in. Yeah, it'd be great for her to get medical insurance. It'd be great for her to get paid vacation, to get a 401k, right? Like, those are things that she's been a contract worker now for 8 years. You know, I'm already self-employed. It doesn't help things, right? You know, if I don't stream, right? If I don't get hoboed, I don't make any money, right? So she's not a fan of the cold. We don't mind cold, actually. We met in Canadian Cyrus. The big thing is just move. We can't move away from her family. You know, her grandparents are up in Ohio. They're in their 80s. We go and we spend Thanksgiving with them. So it's and her parents here in North Carolina. They're actually down near the beach. So Raleigh or Charlotte's a good area because it's only like a 3-hour drive to go and visit them, or them to visit us, right? So yeah, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So moved to Sweden, is that right? So yeah, she I'll give you guys more update. I'm gonna try to do a podcast per month like this. I think it'd be really fun. I'll probably let you guys know ahead of time, and we can just go from there. That sound good? We can just yeah. As far as the market and stuff, yeah, that's what we're thinking as well too. Is the market may the economy wasn't good before Corona. Now with all of this going on, right? The interest rates are uber low. It's like in the 2s, guys, in the 2s. Like I said, though, our lease ends February. So even if we were to look at getting a house, start looking, we would have to look in October, because it always takes you generally don't find a house for like a month. Let's just say you find a house and it's November. We would have to give a 2 month anyways in December. So it's one of those things where, yeah, my neighbor is selling. So, we will see. if we have to live here a little bit longer and month to month or whatever, we'll do what we need to do. But you know, this is, I mean, our rent here is more expensive than what we would pay for a house this size, right? So yeah. No, I mean, it's true. So, but yeah, I'm crossing my fingers. I mean, you guys in the support. So if you're listening to this, you guys just listening, showing up to the Twitch streams again. That's where we're at right now, and I'll continue to do these podcasts. If anything, if we don't have a guest, it'll just be me hanging out with you guys. Does that sound good? I think that sounds like a plan. And yeah, just want to say thank you again for the patron support. By the way, I did bring up my patrons. I brought this up to them, and I just want to let you guys know. I think we're going to check out doing what's called watch parties on Twitch. So if you have Amazon Prime, and you don't have to be a sub here, it just means you have Amazon Prime and it's linked to your Twitch account, we can do what's called watch parties. So watch parties is sort of like what we're doing right now, but instead of us being right here, it would be the movie, and where chat is, my face would be above chat and you could hear me talk. So we would watch movies or shows like Vikings. I want to watch Vikings. I've seen like seasons 1 through 3, but I haven't seen the rest. So that would be something we could watch together and stuff like that. But it would be up to my patrons to vote for that. We've had a few more patrons this month, so I just want to say thank you again for heading over there, supporting me that way. Thank you guys. The Boys season 2, right? Oof. I haven't even finished season 1. I'm really close to the end. I think I have like 1 episode left, but I haven't seen it in so long. I may want to go back. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys enjoy the content, the question I have for you is, what is my content worth to you? Consider becoming a sub. Consider becoming a patron. Stopping by. Maybe you can't financially, economically. The world's crazy right now. Totally understand. And if that's the case, do not apologize ever. I never like apologies. Like, hey, Phil, I can't. I don't. You're fine. There are people that can, and just want to say thank you. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've had a good discussion. Nothing crazy here. I'm going to get Darren on. We're going to have Darren on a podcast. I'll make sure it happens. I was joking. And yeah, Tiberius, of course you could. And you are. So thank you. So, of course, this podcast is supported by viewers like you. Please consider supporting me in a variety of ways. Again, sub, check out the Patreon, check out the YouTube channel, all that stuff. By the way, if you haven't joined us on Discord, do so. I'm going to have a link down below. So if you're watching this on YouTube, all you got to do is click, join us. Make sure to look at welcome, read first. All you got to do is click on that heart or just say something. We will get you your roles appropriately. Strong Paul says, sorry, Phil, don't move to Canada or else you'd get sorry every 2 words. All right. Sorry. We'd have to quarantine ourselves for 2 weeks, right? We have passports, so I guess that would work. No, I'm not moving to Canada. It's crazy. Could have a time or two ago, like 6 years ago, but didn't happen. So there's that. Is that right? Just move in there? No, I'm good, man. I want myself and this channel to be 100% supported by my viewership. If I get sponsors, it'll be through companies that I 100% believe in. I'm going to look out to some veteran companies, send out some emails, see if they're interested in that. Stuff like coffee, or if it has to do with like stuff that I'm into, outdoors, sportsman stuff. I'm going to look at that. If I have any, I will let you guys know. I'll be very, very open about it. But it won't be anything. I don't want any, no. If I do any type of sponsored gameplay, I talked about this actually on Discord. For instance, Stream Elements has a sponsored gameplay thing. You play, it is for Raid Shadow Legends. Okay. And I'm totally down to do those type of things, but I will be very open when I do them. Obviously, you have to with the FTC and stuff. So like if I do one, I will let you guys know ahead of time. So yeah, I hadn't either. Zip Zop, Bibbidi Bop. Everspace 2 is coming out. I'm very interested in that. We played the demo. If one of the devs approached me and was like, hey, we'd love to sponsor a stream and you play it and, you know, blah, 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 that I would be totally down. But again, I will be very, very open about those relationships. So yeah. I'm looking forward to it. As far as going back a little bit, I think another very important thing about talking about me streaming is I've been happy. I've enjoyed streaming again. I've enjoyed gaming again. And I can't put a value on that. And I want to stress that. Like, I have other stresses, you know, like, am I doing the right thing? You know, like I said, the whole career thing, that's reality, right? I can only control what I can control and do my best, but not stressing out because I'm frustrated or I'm upset or anything like that because of the game or whatever. That's not the case anymore. I'm happy. I've been enjoying it. And like I said, you can't put a price on that. So there's that. But gentlemen, this is going to be it for podcast 199. Oh, I will be back. We'll do this at least once a month, if not more, depending on the response. So again, if you're new, make sure to head over to our Twitch channel. If you're new here at Twitch, make sure to hit that follow button. Check out all the links down below. And of course, like I said, just want to say thank you again for showing up. Hopefully you guys have had a great night. This is a little bit different of a format. If you guys like it, let me know in Twitch chat. Let me know down in the description below on YouTube or on Discord. Let me know if this is something that you guys want to see more often, whether it's once a month or maybe once a week or maybe bi-monthly or something like that to begin with. Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts and feelings. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. So have a great night. Be safe. I will see you tomorrow for some more MechWarrior Online action. Sound like a plan? Good night, guys.